What is going on, Bucs fans? Evan Wanish here, back at you with yet another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today we are going to be going over the players to watch for this upcoming matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. Week 7 is here. It is a massive, massive divisional game. Whoever wins this game is going to be in first place in the NFC South for now, folks. And obviously there's a lot of season left, a lot of games left, but this is a very, very important game for the Bucs and for the Falcons too. But for the Bucs, it is a massive game here at home that they got to find a way to win. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the players to watch that will hopefully help them secure that win. First and foremost, got to mention him. And I feel like I hate doing this, but I feel like you mention him sort of every single time. It's Baker Mayfield. Of course, more specifically, this time coming off a pretty bad performance against the Detroit Lions. So you're hoping for a bounce back. The last time Baker Mayfield struggled a little bit this season, he bounced back pretty nicely in New Orleans. Obviously, played pretty poorly against the Eagles and then bounced back with what I think is his best performance as a Buck in New Orleans and was able to get a massive win before the bye week. Now he's facing another time where he struggled and he's going to have to find a way to bounce back. And this team needs him to do that because if he doesn't, then you can start to see the rails maybe start to go off this thing. Honestly, if Baker Mayfield can't, sort of throw that one behind him, it's a bad performance. It happens. Throw it behind him and get ready for the next week because this is just such an important game and they need Baker Mayfield to be better than he was last week, quite frankly. So it is important for Baker Mayfield to play well, and he is pretty much the number one player to watch. And he's actually my X factor this week. I think he is the biggest X factor here. I think, honestly, if he plays a little bit better against Detroit, I think the Bucs might win that game, if you want me honest. So while he didn't completely lose it for them, he certainly didn't help. So he needs to bounce back against Atlanta, and hopefully he will. Now, he will need some help for that, though. And I think another player to watch is Rachaad White, who has honestly been struggling, and the run game as a whole has been struggling. Right, we talked about it ad nauseum. It's not good, folks. It's not good enough right now. They're struggling to run the football, get anything going, and it's hurting this offense. Really putting the offense in some bad spots. And when you don't have any semblance of a run game, your play action's less effective, and you can't get into those short yardage situations as much as you'd like to, and it just makes things much harder on offense. So Rachaad White is a guy that needs to get going. Of course, it is not all his fault, as we've talked about before. It's the running backs, it's the offensive line, it's the play calling, it's all those things combined. But Rachaad White, I believe, does need to have a pretty solid game against the Falcons' run defense that is prone to give up some yards. I mean, they're not invincible by any means. Rachaad White definitely needs a bounce back game as well, and really needs to get going in the season. Not even really a bounce back game; needs a breakout game, I should say, because so far this season he hasn't really been that guy for the Buccaneers, the guy that the Buccaneers hoped they would be getting this season. So hopefully he can pick it up and really create some mismatches in the run game and effectively, put the offense into some much more favorable spots. Instead of it being 2nd and 8, have it be 2nd and 2. It's a much bigger difference. So am I asking for 100, 150 yards? No, I'm not asking for that at all. That'd be nice, but I just think a semblance of a run game is just so important for this team, and hopefully they can get it with Rachaad White on Sunday. The other player we are going to talk about is Mike Evans against AJ Terrell. It's a pretty interesting matchup here with Mike Evans. Now, he did have a pretty critical drop on 3rd down in that Detroit game. Hopefully that doesn't become a trend, but Mike Evans is a player to watch. And just want to go over that really quick just because I think it's a matchup. I think AJ Terrell is actually one of the more underrated corners in the NFL. So him going up against Mike Evans, I think, is always an interesting matchup. So curious to see that. Now we're going to switch over to the defensive side of the football, and our first player to watch there is going to be Kalijah Kancey, the outstanding rookie who basically had his season debut against Detroit. I know he played against Minnesota. He played 12 snaps. So played a full game against Detroit, played a lot of snaps against Detroit. So looks 100% healthy and looked good, honestly. Had a sack, had a couple of more pass rush moves, almost got there a few different times. So hopefully he can continue to stack up good weeks here. And I think he's a player to watch along that defensive line. a really important piece to the Buccaneers puzzle here on defense for the present and the future. So getting Kalijah Cansey going and making sure he's developing properly and being a productive player is really important for the Buccaneers. And hopefully they can get him going there on the right track. Hopefully he can continue the success that he's already found. And honestly, in those 12 snaps against the Vikings, he looked pretty good too. So far, so good for Kalijah Cansey. Hopefully he can stay healthy. He's one of my players to watch on Sunday. Another player to watch really quick is Shaq Barrett. I just think they need more from their edge rushers, and Shaq Barrett's the highest paid guy there. So by default, I think a lot of the finger pointing is going to go to him. Now, he did just come off of a pretty major injury, of course, last season, and then obviously had the really, really difficult offseason, with the loss of his daughter. But at the same time, you are out there, you're playing, and the Buccaneers, they need you to be better. I mean, they need you to be better. And he was what good. He was good in the Chicago game, and he's flashed from here to there. It's just I think the Buccaneers need more from their edge rushers, and I mean that goes for JTS too. It's just Shaq Barrett is more of that leader type on that defensive line, and he's one of the highest paid players on the team. So they need more production out of him. I'll be watching Shaq Barrett pretty closely on Sunday. Now we're also going to be discussing the two linebackers. That's Levante David and Devin White. I am combining them because they are going to be partially in charge of stopping Bijan Robinson, the Falcons rookie running back. They selected 8th overall. Anytime you select a running back in the top 10, means he's probably a special talent. And Bijan Robinson is a special talent. So he certainly is. He's going to be a handful for the Buccaneers on Sunday. And I think it's going to be up to Devin White and Levante David, among others, but I think mostly them to help stop him, not only in the run game, but also in the pass game, where he's very effective as well. So I think both those linebackers are going to have a good day. And hey, maybe we talked about the pass rush in a previous video. I talked about the pass rush a little bit today. Maybe they can send him on a blitz. Devin White, to my shock, has 0 sacks on the season. So maybe Devin White can get his first sack of the season here against the Atlanta Falcons. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're watching anybody else that I didn't mention here. Are you watching anybody else closely? I know I mentioned a few players quick there, a few more players in detail. I just think they're players that need to step up. And in order for the Buccaneers to win, I think a lot of these guys need to have good games. So hopefully the Buccaneers can bounce back with a win on Sunday against the Falcons. It's a very, very important game for the Bucs, and with them going on the road on a short week to Buffalo right after it, really, really could use a win here to boost some spirits and sort of get that bad taste out of your mouth from last week. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and go Bucs.